families in their search for in-home nursing and increasing awareness of the home health nurse shortage crisis. Prior to becoming a medical mom, Catherine ran marketing campaigns at companies including Sephora, Vogue, and Coach in New York City and San Francisco. Catherine currently resides in northern Colorado with her husband and 2 amazing daughters. Thank you, Catherine, so much for joining us.
I am so grateful to be here. There are so many faces that I actually recognize from my time in the NICU with my daughter Olivia. So thank you all for finding time in your day to come here. Thank you for those who are on the internet but not accessing right now. Really appreciate it. My name is Catherine Knight. The intro was beautiful. I am the executive director and founder of Hello Nurse, which is a national nonprofit based in Erie, Colorado. We are focused on empowering and connecting medically complex families with nurses in their own community in hopes of providing in-home care. My daughter's pulmonologist likes to call us the eHarmony for nursing and medically complex families, and honestly, it's a really great way to kind of describe what we do. In addition to being that executive director and founder, I have 2 amazing daughters. My youngest daughter, Olivia, spent 267 days in 3 different hospitals in 2 different states. She came home trach vent, G-tube dependent, with oxygen, requiring 24/7 care. Obviously, my experience with her really impacted kind of my passion and my desire to found Hello Nurse. Excuse me. Olivia's journey was truly a roller coaster. As if being delivered 3 months early, she was a 27 and 3, was not enough. She also arrived in the middle of a global pandemic with severe respiratory issues. Today, of course I forgot my prop. Today Olivia is 3 years old, but the prop that I forgot in my purse is, and most of you work in the healthcare field, so you've seen one of the micro preemie diapers. Today Olivia is 3, she's trach free. She is thriving at home. She is still hit harder with viruses. She still requires oxygen while she's sleeping. She's obsessed with her big sister. She loves her puppy. She gives him mouth kisses, which is something that we're trying to curb. But you know, she really is just a regular 3-year-old. She's thriving at home. She's working really hard to make up those developmental milestone gaps through OT, PT, SLP, all the things that are so important. At 1 week of life, Olivia was life flighted from her first hospital to her second. That hospital was 3 hours away from where my husband, myself, and my older daughter were residing. As a family, we decided to divide and conquer. I went with Olivia, and my husband stayed with our now 5-year-old. As the parent by the bedside more often, I spent nearly 260 days by her side of the 267 days that she was in the hospital. Most of those days, I was by the bedside from 8:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. For the nurses who know me from our time locally, it was a lot, but that is where I really felt like I belonged. Looking back, Olivia's journey was also my journey. It changed me in ways that I still, to this day, don't really fully understand. Through that journey, I learned a lot about myself. I learned some things, wisdom, if you will, that I'd love to share with the other NICU families that are here and with the care teams that are here. And then I've also learned really what I'm hoping for NICU families in the future. To start, I've learned a lot about myself. And I realized that I have a note, but sorry guys, rookie. This is Olivia. So I've learned a lot about myself. What I've learned is I lean in during stressful situations. It's a control thing. I am not super proud of it, but leaning in and being an advocate and being very present helps me manage my stress and my anxiety. Leaning in gives me less anxiety. In the thick of Olivia's NICU journey, I had a nurse who knew that Olivia was the bedside that everyone ran to whenever the code button was pushed, because she was more often than not the reason for the code button. This nurse told me, during moments like this, some families lean in, they advocate harder, they show up more, and some families lean out. They come a little bit less or stop coming altogether. This nurse was so understanding when she said that. She said, everyone does what they can to protect themselves, and no one should be judged for it. I have to take a minute to acknowledge, and I love that Gabby mentioned luck, or being lucky. I'm incredibly lucky. I was able to lean in. My husband has an amazing job, and they were really supportive and very understanding of Olivia's journey and her struggles. I had a wonderful job where I was able to take paid leave, unpaid leave, until finally we realized that Olivia was coming home and we did not have the nursing care required, and I had to step back from that role. Because I live in Colorado, I am able to take advantage of Colorado's paid caregiver program. I was able to, and still to this day, am paid to take care of my medically complex daughter. This is a resource that so many states nationally do not have access to, and I realize how incredibly lucky that makes me. With another streak of luck, Olivia's discharged home from the hospital aligned with vaccine mandates and nursing shortages being kind of like top of mind nationally. And with that, we were able to actually share Olivia's story and her coming home and our inability to find nursing with our community via one of the larger news stations. They came to our home and shared our story with our community. This should say, oh no.
You know what?
We
The
don't have
internet is out.
Yeah.
Catherine!
Oh no. Okay. It's this really beautiful video that just kind of shares our story. It shows Olivia in our home. They interviewed my husband, they interviewed me, and we talked about how Olivia requires 24/7 care, and there are no nurses available to care for her. So my husband and I, and we have an older child, slept in shifts. We switched out at 2 a.m. and one of us stayed up until 2, the other one woke up at 2 and cared for Olivia 24/7. The story also was kind of a call to action, asking if nurses in our community would be interested in working with our daughter. As a result of that news story, we actually had 9 nurses who raised their hand to say, I saw your family, I am interested in working with your family, I know I can help. Most of those were, you know, I'll do PRN, I can't do full-time, but I just want to help you guys. 7 of those 9 had never done home health nursing before. They worked in hospital environments or clinics, but had never even considered home health. And that, again, just reinforces how my family's story, how lucky we truly are.
Hey, Catherine.
Yes.
We'll email it to everyone.
Not even. So now I want to kind of take a little bit of time to focus on the learnings and the words of wisdom that I have to share with other NICU families, and even care providers, maybe take this back to the families that you're currently working with. The biggest, there's so many different words of wisdom that I can try and communicate, but really becoming an active participant in your child's care. It's okay to ask questions. Become a part of your child's care team. At the end of the day, you are the constant. Providers, come on shift, they go off shift, nurses go on vacation. You have to be that constant, even if you're not by the bedside 24/7. Ask questions, learn the information even if you can't be there, so that you can be the continuity of care for your child. Ask for a second opinion. Good care teams will never be offended if you ask for a second opinion. They will help with the referral process. It's something so scary as a family to go, and we did it, to go to the team that is responsible for your child's life and say, I like what you guys are doing, but I want to know what else we can do. Find the guts to do it, because worst case scenario, that second opinion is like, whatever you guys are doing, it's, that's what we would recommend. And then at least you've crossed that bridge and you understand that the journey that you're going down is the correct one. Truly find your voice and give yourself a seat at your child's table. Second big piece, the NICU journey will change you. Any NICU family will tell you that they are not the same person after they walked out that door for the very first time leaving their child behind. Find support wherever you can, whenever you can. And the support might not look like the support you expect. It might not be a 30-minute therapy session once a week. What could it be? For me, the weird support that I found, for the first 7 months of Olivia's journey in the NICU, we were in a pod environment. A lot of you probably know what that is. For those who don't, it looks like a large room, 5 to 6 families with their child in isolates or cribs, 2 to 3 nurses assigned to care for those children. That pod environment, while terrifying as a mom with a kid with respiratory issues, again, in the middle of this global pandemic, provided me with an ability to be by the bedside for my daughter for the full duration that I was there, and still continue to engage with other families, engage with more than just the one nurse assigned to my daughter's care, really get to know larger care teams. My biggest piece of advice for families is, know your emotional and mental support needs may change. So don't hesitate to go back to something that didn't work previously, because that might work now that you're further along in your journey. I'm running out of time here, but care teams, thank you for giving families grace. We, as a NICU family, have this heightened sense of emotion, and you handle and manage those emotions and those scary feelings on a daily basis from families that, we don't deal with this constantly. So thank you so much for approaching us with grace. Your words and actions matter. I still to this day remember the kindness, whether it's words or actions, from care teams at every hospital we were at. So know that every action that you have, every conversation you have with families can make that imprint for a lifetime. Finally, step back and look at the services that are currently being provided to families. Is there a way to make them better? For me, this means more opportunities for emotional and mental support for families in the NICU and beyond. More paid caregiver programs nationally for families. And as the medical field advances and more preemie babies are making it home with additional complexities, we need more supports in place for those families. Whether it's incentives for OTs, PTs, SLPs to join the field, or more nurses in home health. The NICU is chapter 1 of the story, but there's so many more things that need to be in place in every chapter of the book, because families can't bear the responsibility all by themselves.